Hello, everyone. So my name is Andre, as the presenter mentioned, and I want to bring this topic up for you about the future of UX. And the way that I'm going to do this, in a very simple format, would be to have a traditional three-story part of how UXers will behave. So we have a past UXer, and then he's not using AI. Then we have a new UXer, Nick, and then he is using AI as part of his development process. And then we'll have a future UXer, Frederick, and then his native AI. And we'll see what are the differences between these three types of UXers. To do that, and to come with me in this journey, I need to take us a little bit into new perspectives, okay? We need to a little bit break free from our models, and we need to zoom out and really think about what does UX and innovation means. So I want to start at this very, very high level. And I do this in two parts of my career, and I have two different approaches on how to use AI in UX. One is that I'm the head of design at Tietoevry. And if you don't know, Tietoevry is a company that works mostly in the Nordics, so Sweden, Finland, Norway, and Denmark. And I'm developing public sector products. And then I have a night job, and that is at the Human Lab. And here I don't have so many constraints, like I don't have the same constraints as a big organization. Right? I'm working as a private consultancy, and I can experiment on how to develop design. And this is very important, because on one, I'm legally bound. On another one, I have room to experiment. Okay? And in both of my jobs, I have exactly the same mission. So my end goal is exactly the same, right? Is that I need to deliver value to customers. And if you are in design or if you are in UX, and they ask you, what do you want to do? What's your end goal? That is always the answer, right? We want to deliver value to the customer, okay? And this is a very important statistic for me. This is my favorite statistic. This is a statistic from Bain & Company, and it's a report that they did in the top organizations in the world, and then 80% of the companies believe that they deliver great value to customers. And what's very interesting, in the same report, they check with the customers, and 8% of them agrees. Okay? And of course, I always find this is a funny story, because it's between 80 and 8, right? And we can blame business. But ultimately, if I am the UX or designer, this is part of my responsibility. I'm failing at my job if I'm not managing to cover this gap. Okay? So we can go to different reasons why we don't meet the customer needs. I give you the top 3. This is the most common ones. I have seen this throughout of all my career. And then one is that innovation cycles are just too slow. It takes us too long to get to markets. When we get to markets, either competitors have been in, or the demands have changed, or we totally missed the scope. And then when we get to market, the clients are not there anymore. The other one is that generally R&D lacks connection to customers. Customer is just by the way. I will talk to him at the end when he will tell me how great the job is, and it's not really integrated into the processes of early discovery and keep contact with them. And the last but not least, we also have projects that have very few customer metrics of success. What does success look like? And how do we make sure that we are hitting this? And this is throughout organizations. And this is nobody else's fault. It's like we can share responsibility. But I think if you are in design, and especially as me, as I'm a head of design, this is my responsibility. So I often need to rethink And I need to take this very large perspective. Like, what are we doing wrong? What are the things that I need to do in myself and in my team to change? And I want to start then by looking at the traditional UXer. So this is a past UXer. This is no longer exists in my teams. Okay? And I'm going to give you the statistics. So this was measured inside of my UX team. And I can show you this pie chart. And then this is where they spend their time weekly. Okay? And you can see that they spend about 9% talking to customers, what is good. They spend about 22% actually doing UX work, actually developing flows, actually prototyping, actually experimenting. Then they spend 15% in strategic meetings, like design systems, accessibility, gaining knowledge. And then they have 27% in project coordination meetings with other disciplines. Then they have other coordination meetings, 18%. And they have then other meetings like one-to-one, personal development, and so on. So this graph shows, in average, how my designers spend their time. And what is really important about this is that they are 31% productive. This is all that we get out of them. We cannot get more. 31%. And if you now take you back to this statistic of 80 to 8, this is also part of the problem. It's not only other people's responsibilities, it's also our responsibilities. We are not doing the right things more often than we should. And we could be that we don't have capacity, it could be that you are a new team, but in average, a traditional designer is only 31% productive. So I want to propose some solutions for you. These are not the final solutions, but it's just a new way of you to think about. So we will present you my day job at TheAutoEvery and my night job at Human Labs. And I'll try to explain what are the differences between them. So in one, we'll have an AI-empowered workflow, and this is based on the double diamond. So can I ask you if you can, who knows here about the double diamond? Can raise the hand? Okay. Roughly 50% of the people knows what is the double diamond. Okay. In very simple terms, a double diamond is just areas that you explore and you diverge and you converge, right? So it's like we might need to go and understand what are the user needs, and then we are going to explore multiple, and then we say, okay, out of this multiple, these are the ones that are more relevant. Then we mark them, and then we went to conceptualization, where we actually start making the first screens and trying to understand how this would look like. So this is just the normal traditional process. But what we do at TheAutoEvery, or what we are trying to do at TheAutoEvery, is that on top of this process, we are just layering tools. Just layering AI tools that will help us meeting those needs, right? These 8% needs. And if you want to have an analogy on how this would look like, just think about these AI tools sort of a GPS. Okay? This is only that it is. You are driving the car, you're making all the decisions, but you have this tool besides you that helps you automating some of these tasks. So I don't need to stop and read the map. He says, no, maybe take right hand turn here, because that might bring you some more results. Or instead, it could be that a road is closed and you need to reroute. And you need to reroute fast to meet your meeting. So therefore, this is the main goal of when we are looking at AI tools, is that they don't determine the output. We determine the output, but we use the tool to help us to get there. And this is what I want you to have. And I'm going to show you 3 tools that we are exploring. Maybe some of them you already know. Maybe some of them will be new. That will help you there. And one of them that we are using, it's called Breta. And I don't know if you know this tool. And this is basically AI-powered insights tool. And this solves a very specific problem inside of my team. Inside of my team is, if one designer has questions about an end user problem, he goes out and he makes an interview. He makes a report, stores it in his own files, and we'll never see that report again. It's gone. Other designer has another question, exactly the same question, and then he goes again and does again another user interview. So somehow we managed to develop a team that has individual reports, but they don't centralize it. And it's not easy to get to the insights. And if you think about this, if I have a question, or I want to discover a new part of a customer, and one of my team members already has been there, and I can search for these answers, then I can take two decisions. Either the answer has been already answered, and I don't need to go out, or maybe it has added new questions. And then I can go and have a much more sharper question, and we grow then in maturity as we move on. So I'm going to give you an accelerated example of just how this looks like. So this is Breta. I just upload a lot of user tests. So it was just tests that we had. And then I tell him what is the context. What am I looking for? And then after this, he already starts giving me insights, and I can read. This is all in Norwegian, I'm sorry. But he's trying to pinpoint all the insights that he found on the user interviews that reply to my question. And more importantly than this, he also highlights it, and you saw there was a video snippet of it. And I actually can see the video snippet of the client, and then I can zoom, I can move forward or move back, and I can really understand, it's like, was it the right question? Did it answer my question or not? So the decision is up to me to understand if the insight is correct or not, but at least I have now access. So there is no more one single designer that does research, stores it, and nobody has access to it anymore. Now we have a team that is generating insights, and we can search all the interviews all the time. And this is a really good tool to help us in the UX instead of the team. The other one that you have is Figma Make. This last year was a hype. You probably already have all seen it, so I don't want to spend too much time on this. I expect that you already seen it. But Figma Make is basically a prompt text tool. You can add and make some requirements on, I want to create, this was a kind of a financial app, and then he will generate the first insights. We are actually talking with Figma. I've been talking with Figma for the last year because we want to upload our design system into it. So then when the output comes, it already has our design system into it, but you can see that it's kind of generating. Again, is this the best design that we will have, or the last design? No. But is this the design that really helps us to prototype first ideas, having discussion with clients, especially at early stage? Yes. This is really important for us. It's about speeding our first iterations and go to market. And you can see here that then automatically it will create the first flows, and now we have an app. And often this is exploratory. I'm not 100% sure that this is the right way, but it's at least the first prototype that cost me a couple of hours, not a lot, to go and have the first interactions with the customer, instead of spending days and weeks to get there. There is another one that you also can see. This is basically from Chatien, from V0, Vercel. And what I want to do here is that it's a little bit closer to Figma Make, but this gives a little bit more of control on the back end than Figma. And I'm going to ask to make, see, yes, here it is. I'm going to actually import a Figma file into it, so it worked very much in collaboration. And then after I have asked to import the Figma file, he's going to read the file, and he's going to actually make a live prototype out of it. Okay? And this is, of course, as I said again, this is not the final result, but this is very, very useful in first interactions. And then you can see now the link between Figma and front-end development is probably going to get shorter, and you might have some added value in your interactions with the customers. Okay? So what is interesting is that this is Nick, and he's the first AI-enabled UXer. Okay? This is what we require from the team now. Okay? If I'm going out and recruiting new designers, if he's not at this level, he has a competitive disadvantage. I will not prioritize a client that doesn't know, a designer that doesn't know basic AI tools, just because it doesn't fit our team and what we want to go forward with. And what you can see is that these customer interactions that actually were 31%, we see that this now can be shortened. Okay? And then we expect that on that specific categories, we'll have 40% productivity gain. And then you can ask, but why is this important for me? Now, how does this meet the goal? Well, the assumption here, and it is my assumption, is that the importance of this is that when we go into the AI-enabled workflow, so when we have no AI, maybe they did 1 or 2 prototypes, and that was it. That was all the time that he had. But I believe that if you're starting using the new AI tools, then you actually can do maybe more iterations. And we hope, this is the assumption that we have, it's not proven scientifically yet, but we hope by making more iterations and having more time to spend on the tasks that we need, that will raise the quality of our products. And then that 8% maybe becomes 9, maybe becomes 10, maybe becomes 20 in the future. So this is my day job, okay? So this is, now I'm going to talk about something totally different, and this is my night job. And this is a new way of thinking about this. So I have asked about the double diamonds, and you all know. Who knows here, by raising your hands, what is the Stingray model? Who knows about the Stingray model? Okay, 1 person. Okay, very good. And I will try to give you a little bit of a definition of Stingray model. So the Stingray model was created by the Board of Innovation. It's a company from Belgium. And they are disrupting the way that we're thinking. So they are attempting to kill the double diamonds to be AI-enabled solution first. And the approach is totally different because they don't center the human at the center of the development process, but they actually center the AI. Okay? So humans in this model become managers of AI, if this makes sense. And so you are spending a lot of time first training the model, and then you go to development, iteration, and validation fast. So this is very experimental. Nobody knows if this is going to work, but I wanted to be in the first line of how we do product development using the Stingray model. And I want to give you this example that it is, if in the first one we had a GPS, in this model, it's slightly different. We have a self-driven car. I'm still there. I'm controlling the car. I said, this is where I want to go, but he's driving me there. And he's avoiding traffic and obstacles. But if I think that I'm a danger, I can take control and steer away from the problem. So this is the mindset that this model brings. So I'm doing this, as I said, on Human Lab, and for different reasons. But one of this is I want to be at the cutting edge. I want to be learning about the new methodologies and how they will influence our way. Some will work, some will fail, and that's OK. But the thing that I wanted to explain about this new model is the speed. That is I've never seen before. So every time, this is just a kind of a metaphor, this is one concept that was AI generated, created, and now is being launched to the market. And this is a second one. And this is the third one. And this is the fourth one. Sorry? Yeah. So I'm trying to show you the speed that new AI concepts will be generated in the future if this Stingray model will work. You can do multiple solutions really, really fast. And you're going to do that in a different way, right? You are going to add some AI agents. You're going to have a RAG. RAG is just basically context and historical background of the solutions that you want to create. And then you're going to have an external validation tool. So that could be, depends a little bit, but let's assume that this will be, you want to develop a new app and you want to A/B testing it on Facebook, which is the one that is going to work more. Something like this. And then you set up the whole system to create that iterations by itself, and then you launch, and then you see which are the ones that are working. So it's really about generating thousands of concepts and getting to the one that you think that is the one that will be more successful. So the volume of iterations is huge. And I'm going to give you just a quick example how this could look like. This is a software that I developed. It's very basic, but it was just to prove the concept. So I have uploaded a PDF that has a basic brief. You can see here. And it's just about creating an application. Then it gives me a really short description of how, what is this brief about, so I can understand. And then I created a couple of agents, and this is just to create context. They were all, in this example, they were all Chinese type of customers. And then I gave them an occupation, a personality. And then what I do then to this one is that then I will start interrogating them about the brief. I said, if you wanted to answer this brief, how should we do that? And can you give me some different options? And then you can see here they gave me 3 options. And then if you click on it, there is like a full description and text base of why they are deciding this way. But what's very interesting for me is that now I can choose, in this case, Sophie and Lynn. And because they have different personalities, they will give me different answers. So then I can decide, based on this information, new information that I'm generating, if this is actually the right answer that I'm looking for. So you can see here, I'll select them. And then they will give me a rating. I'm just refreshing. And then they give me a rating. And Sophie says, oh, this is a great solution. This will match my needs. And Lily said, it's OK. It's not perfect solution for me. And now I can have a dialogue with them. Why is it? Why do you think that it's good? Why do you think that it's bad? And then we will have some quick can you please explain why you rated this way? And then they start generating the first interaction. And now I'm thinking, together with AI, with this kind of AI agents, I'm thinking, maybe it is not the correct solution, and maybe it is a different one. I'm not sure. I can expand on this. And then in this case, just for example, I'll say, OK, this is OK, and I just want you to create this. And he just created it. The secret now is that I don't really care about the quality of what is he creating. What I care is that now I will push it in LinkedIn, and I'll let humans give feedback to this. And then I'll generate 300 concepts that will be tested in LinkedIn, and I'll see which of the concepts is the most successful. Why is this target audience engaging with this one? And then I'll make a decision if this will be my final design or not. So this is a total new way. As you can see, I'm not only talking to users, but I'm actually leveraging this AI platform and also social media to get into the answers faster. And very, very likelihood, this type of approaches, if not this one, but similar to these ones, will be what we call an AI native UXer. And the difference between an AI designer that just uses the tool to empower and one that is a native one is that he's now backing up by data. And he's looking at data as the main source of information. And the assumption that I have here is that if you remember this 31% of productivity, is that we are going to probably increase that to probably 80%. OK? And we are going to do more design more often. And we are going to fail more often. But we are also going to succeed much more. And that is really what is important here. I want to show you I found this last slide yesterday, and I thought it was very interesting. And this is from NN Group. And this is the UX maturity today. And this was asked to UXers themselves. Right? So this is a very specialized group. And on one sense, they say, what are the numbers of responses? And then on this one, on the horizontal one, they're saying, what is the maturity level inside of your organization? And you can see that there is now a very big presence between emergent and somehow structured. But that's not the majority. And what I expect that when regardless if you're using the double diamond with AI, or if you're going to go to the Stingray model, this is what we want to see. It's much more structured, integrated, and hopefully user-driven at a much more higher levels than we're seeing today. These questions about 80 to 8, it's not somebody else's fault. It's our responsibility to grow and to increase. So, as we move forward in this AI era that nobody has the total answer and the total picture, I want to start again with a big picture that I mentioned in the beginning. I want to free ourselves from traditional ways of thinking and thinking about how can I solve this problem in a different way. And I want to make sure that everything that I develop together with my team does one thing and one thing only, is build great products for my clients. My name is Andre, and this was my presentation.